Hey, aloha, everybody. Tom Gaddis here. I am live for our weekly coaching call. That's right. I'm back, baby. Excited to be here today. Missed you guys the past few weeks. We have a fantastic call lined up for you today. One, we've got a ton of wins to celebrate. Lots of people out there in the community taking action. I'm going to show you what they're doing. We're going to celebrate those. But I'm going to spend the first part of this video talking about the offline sharks laws of branding. So I am going to share my screen here real quick. And here we go. We'll just do the entire screen. Here we go. So this is what we're going to be covering today. The laws of branding for your smart directory AI site. I'm going to talk to you about naming your directory, the design implications like colors and things like that, positioning your smart directory AI site for maximum impact and business growth. It is going to be a ton of fun. And as always, I will take your questions after we get through this training part. I'll hang out here. You can ask me anything that you're running into or questions you have about anything local marketing, AI marketing related. You can ask me that and we'll get going. So we are going to get this show cracking. Doug, Joe, Lynette, welcome everybody. Awesome to see you. Yes, Joe, we are live. So let's just dive right in. Again, we're going to be talking about the laws of branding for your directory site. I'm going to talk about naming, designing, and positioning. We're going to cover all of those on today's coaching call, and I'm going to take your questions as well. So get over here so we can see this. First up, let's just start with the big one, naming your site. And, you know, this is a place where I see a lot of people like hit that first kind of obstacle or brick wall with getting their momentum going when it comes to setting up a directory site. Now, if you are not familiar with Smart Directory AI or exactly how we use it to kind of turn the entire directory site model on its head, I'm just going to explain that real quick because it ties into naming your site and developing your logo and all the things we're going to be talking about here today. Because for us, a directory site, like we are not in the directory site business. We do not want to be in the directory site business. For us, the directory site is a tool that we use in our community or our niche that we're targeting, that the people that we want to sell our AI marketing services to. The directory site for us is just a tool that allows us to start easy conversations, to build those relationships, not get a lot of pushback like you may have typically experienced if you're doing cold outreach. So, you know, if you've tried cold outreach in the past, you probably know it can pretty much feel like going 60 miles an hour and running into a brick wall, right? Like just getting your messages open, just getting people to reply, let alone getting people to a point where you can actually present what it is you're offering is an extremely arduous uphill battle. So a long time ago, Nick and I we were trying to think of ways to get around that. And one thing that occurred to us was, wow, if we had this little community resource website, we could use that as like our conversation starter. And so we created a site. Our site is called hawaiithrive.com. Now I'm going to let, at the bottom of this video, I'm going to let a link scroll by. If you're not familiar with Smart Directory AI, you want to know more about what it does and all those things, you can just go to this link, smartdirectory.ai. There's a lot more information on it, all that stuff, details of how the software works. Smart Directory AI is a tool that we developed ourselves because almost every directory platform that we tried didn't allow us to do what we wanted to do. So I mentioned, like for us, the directory site is a tool for prospecting. So We want to be able to get these sites set up quickly. We want them to look good. And then we want to be able to use them for the revenue producing activity of prospecting. And a lot of the directory platforms that we've tried over the years, they fell short in those areas. Like either they were very complicated to set up and we were spending a ton of time building the directory site and not actually having conversations with potential clients, or once they were set up, we didn't really have any way to manage the workflow. Like we had all these different tools that we were using to try to manage the inflow of leads and the conversations and all that. So, a couple of years ago, we started using High Level in our agency, and we just decided to build a directory site that we could launch right inside of High Level. So that's what Smart Directory AI is. It's the only High Level app out there that actually allows you to get clients. So a lot of High Level apps will collect leads for you and help you find leads. Smart Directory AI is more than that. We take those leads and we actually turn them into paying clients. So if you want more information, just go to smartdirectory.ai and you can check that out. So how does this all tie in with naming your site? Well, since our goal is to start the prospecting process, which Smart Directory AI automates, right? Then we want to get to that point as quickly as possible. So when it comes to naming our site, don't overthink this. I see a lot of people get stuck here because they're trying to find that perfect name, right? Look, the success of your site is not going to come from the name. It's going to come from you actually using the platform and the prospecting system, not from having the perfect name, right? So pick a name that you like and go with it. Now, I can give you some guidance on the type of name to pick. For instance, our site is called HawaiiThrive.com. And when you think about that name, it almost sounds like a government organization, right? Or maybe even a nonprofit. That is on purpose. We do not want anyone to feel when we reach out to them that this is some type of sales thing. We want them to get to realize that it's a resource, right? That this is something of value to them. Think of it in terms of like this, because this is one of the places where I got the idea for this is AARP. Now I'm going to turn 52 in July, so I've started getting the AARP stuff a couple of years ago. But AARP, they sell insurance. And specifically, they sell insurance to seniors. But AARP.com is seen as an amazing resource for seniors because it is, right? Like they've built that site up and they provide a ton of value to seniors, whether they buy their insurance products or not. But on the back end of that, behind the scenes, they are selling a lot of insurance and other services to seniors from that resource site. Our directory site, our Smart Directory, is the same idea. We want to bring value to the community, help local businesses. So we want our name to reflect that if we're targeting a geolocation. And I'm going to talk to you in a minute about the two ways you can go with this. One is a geolocation like we do with Hawaii, or you could also target a specific niche. So if you're targeting a niche, same thing applies. The site, you want the name of the site to imply that it's valuable to that niche and those business types, right? So when you're picking your name, think of that. We always, I see this question a lot in the school group, people saying what should I use? .com, .ai, .org. Look, we always go for a .com name if we can, because that's just what people are so used to typing in, right? So look, if you can get a .com, do a .com, .net, .org. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying any of those other ones are bad, but the majority of people, if they're trying to remember a domain name, they are going to put .com at the end of it. The other thing I would recommend is to try to keep the name of your site relatively tight and don't put any hard to spell words in it. So, think about the people that may be telling other people about your site, or maybe they saw your email and later, a few days later, they're like, oh, I want to go there and check that out. What was the name of that place? Like, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to remember your site's name and get there without any help. So even something as simple as just going to Google and searching can be a roadblock that a lot of people don't want to go over, right? Like, well, I don't have time to go search it, and then they just forget. So naming your site, make it sound kind of officialish, a name that portrays value to the niche that you're serving. Keep it tight if you can, and then also no hard to spell words in there, and use a .com if at all possible, right? So those are some naming guidelines and conventions I can give you. Now, again, don't overthink this. My recommendation to you guys is to just set a deadline. So, just give yourself maybe, I don't know, like 2 to 3 days and say, look, I'm going to make a list of names that I think are good. But on this day, I'm picking one out of that list and we're moving forward, right? And then just get going. Because again, the name is not going to make or break you. We've actually had several different directory sites. We have rebranded directory sites. It has never had an impact on what we're doing. So if you want to rebrand it down the road, you can, or just launch another one, you can. Just remember the purpose of your directory. It's a foot in the door strategy to sell your AI and marketing services, right? So let's get a name and let's just get up and let's get going. If you can't think of anything, just steal Thrive, right? Thrive is a good one. Just still Thrive. So just whatever area you're focusing, just do that and Thrive. Or if it's a niche, do that and Thrive. Okay. So that's what I have on naming your site. And oh, by the way, Cameron, as always, put together an amazing PDF with a little more detail than is on the slides here, that you can download to go with this training in this video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, just pop a comment below this video, and either me or someone from the team will shoot you a link to download the PDF. For all of you that are here live right now, if Cameron or someone from the team could pop that link into the chat so people can download that PDF, I would appreciate it. And we're going to keep moving forward. All right. So naming your site. So I already talked about a lot of this. Avoid overthinking, use a deadline, focus on the purpose, right, of the site, meaning don't get bogged down in this naming situation. So I mentioned that there are two options that you can focus on, right? One is a geo-focused site, which is what we do with HawaiiThrive.com. We are targeting businesses in Hawaii, so it has a geography-based focus. But you can also build a site that is niche focused. So, for instance, you could build a site that is targeted to home services. Now, when picking which one you're going to do, I see this question a lot from people as well. Like, well, how broad or how specific do I want to go? So I want to give you guys some guidance on this as well, because I think this is really important too. You can go too broad, meaning you can bite off more than you can chew. And you can also go too niche. And I think in the beginning, especially when you're getting your first site up, you want to do like a Goldilocks approach. You want something that's just right, something that's not too broad, but not too specific, so that you have wiggle room to make adjustments as you're learning and growing and figuring out what you want to do. So let's start with a geo-focused site first. My recommendation is always that you start where you live. Start in your own backyard, especially if you are brand spanking new. The example I give all the time for this is Facebook. When Mark Zuckerberg was launching Facebook, if he got everyone in his initial market to sign up, he would only have about 3,000 customers. because his initial market was only Harvard. That one college, Harvard. And that was the college where he was going, right? So he was targeting the college he was going to. And when they decided to open Facebook up to a bigger audience, they didn't go to the world or even go to all colleges. They started with other Ivy League colleges, and then they gradually grew out from there. So I recommend you do the same thing. Start in your own backyard and then grow out your area. Now, in a geo-focused site, you'll notice our site is branded to Hawaii. So that is all of Hawaii. That's all of the Hawaiian Islands. However, when we were initially prospecting for our site, using our site, we did not prospect all of the Hawaiian Islands, even though we had them all on our site. We only prospect in our own backyard, which was Maui. And as we got traction and we worked with clients there, then we expanded to Oahu. And now we're starting to expand to all the other islands. So don't be too aggressive in your expansion approaches. There is a lot of gold and diamonds in your own backyard. You can have a very, very good and healthy business. I mean, we were doing multiple six figures just with clients on Maui. And Maui is a small market. Like there's only 144,000 people that live on that island. So if you're in a small area, don't think, oh, I can't make any money because I'm in a small area. That is typically not the case. That's just a perception that a lot of people have that isn't true. So geo-focused, I would make the branding of your site a little broader, but in your prospecting efforts, start in your own backyard and grow out from there. So Hawaii Thrive allowed us to prospect in Maui, but grow as we got more traction and we moved along. A niche focus site, same thing. Instead of targeting a site like with it is only with plumbers, right? I would recommend you start a little broader and build your site around home services. Then you're able to reach out to multiple home services niches, dip your toes and hands in a lot of different waters, and you may, to your surprise, find out there's one type of home service you really like working with over another. Once you have that and you've got traction and experience and all those things behind you, then niche down to a specific thing, right? But especially when you're new, keep it a little broader. I would do that. Now, I always thought like these are the only two you could have. One of our Smart Directory AI users, Michael, though, who's on the call, he actually has a site that combines both of these elements. So Michael is targeting a niche in an area. So I think Michael's site is around health and wellness businesses in Oregon. So that is a great approach as well, because he's still being broad enough, but it's still kind of specific, and it gives him a lot of wiggle room in the types of businesses he can reach out to and the traction he could get. So again, for a geo-focused site, use our Hawaii Thrive as an example. Keep it broad enough to scale, but begin prospecting locally like we did in Maui. With a niche-focused site, again, a good example of this is Randy and Jocelyn have a real estate site that is a national site, but they started prospecting in Oregon and in Las Vegas where they have residences. So like they're prospecting in their own backyard and growing out from there. Now, we also have members that have sites built around the cannabis niche that are crushing it. We have a member who built a site. He targeted it statewide, but it's golf courses. So there's lots of options and opportunity here for whatever type of thing that you want to do. I don't want to share the name of Michael's site in case he doesn't want it out there. I know he shared it in the school group. So if you're a Smart Directory AI user, if you go into the school group, there's a post that one of our members, Igor, made where people were listing their Smart Directory sites that are live. So you'll see a good list of example sites and what people are doing and all that kind of stuff. All right. Okay. So that is geo-focused and niche-focused. Now, strategic naming tips. I mentioned some of these as well. Sound official, use names that sound community or niche-focused, build trust. and allow growth. So pick a name with room to expand. But the bottom line of all of this, pick a name and move forward. You do not spend more than 48 to 72 hours in picking your name. Pick something, get a domain, and get going. All right. Okay. Let's talk about targeting geo versus niche. So choose your direction, geo-targeted, niche targeting. We covered this already. Expand your reach. We talked about this in a geo-targeted directory. Start local, brand broader, leverage relationships. This is really good for solopreneurs with local connections, right? Hawaii Thrive, check that out. Niche targeted directory, specific business types or specific business category, I think is maybe a better way to go there. You can have nationwide reach with these, but look, again, stay very local. I see a lot of people when they go to do a directory, they're like, I'm going to build a national directory. We're going to target pool cleaners all over the US and the money is just going to roll in. Well, look, I hate to burst this bubble because I know people get excited about this, but to target any business type nationally requires a tremendous amount of resources. We have an agency that does $1.6 million a year, and the resources that it would take to target businesses all across the US, like that is too much for us. Like we could not handle targeting businesses all across the US, even with an agency that size. So, and we have a team at the agency and an operations manager. So listen, it takes a tremendous amount of resources. So even if your site is set up to look like it's targeting a national audience, that's fine, but do not be doing that in the day-to-day operations. Be targeting individual locations where you can actually get traction and results and build out from there. Okay. All right. Pro tips to targeting: commit to one model. Both geo and niche approaches work, by the way. Again, just pick one and go with it. There's no, like, one does not work better than the other. We have members who are crushing it with both models. So just pick one and move forward. Start small, then scale, right? Just like Facebook. Avoid multiple launches. I know we have a lot of people, like we've been doing this directory model for a long time, 10 years. There's a lot of people on this call like Dorn and Richie and others who have also been doing directory sites for a long time. They've come to us, started doing them. And in the beginning, they're like, we're going to have a lot of sites. But you quickly find out that managing multiple directory sites, especially when they start getting traction, very quickly leads to overwhelm. So usually what happens for most of those people is they end up condensing back down. So my advice to you is do not launch multiple sites all at once. Launch one site, get it going, get traction, get the process dialed in, then launch your next site, then another one, then another one. A repeatable process, right? And when in doubt, just go local. People, I know this is, I think, is another big misconception with digital marketing. A lot of people think they need to portray themselves as this big time business that's going to come in and help. People do not like dealing with those types of companies. People want to work with people, and local people prefer to work with other local people. It is actually more of an advantage to be in someone's local area when you're selling digital and AI marketing services than to not be. So embrace that. Take on that mantle of being the AI person in your area. And I think you'll see a lot better results than trying to come at them as a faceless big agency. Okay. Choosing your brand colors. So this is something that we don't really touch on in the training, which is why I wanted to do this here. I've seen a lot of sites that look great, people picking awesome colors. But when you're picking your colors, you want to select with purpose, right? Like, remember that colors trigger emotions. They influence perception. So colors evoke feelings. Each color can create specific emotional responses. I'm going to go over some of those here in a minute, kind of the psychology of the color. So when you're picking your colors, consider your audience, right? Match colors to your target market's expectations. So, Hawaii has colors that are associated with it, right? It's an island, especially Maui, right? Like island lifestyle, all those things. So whenever someone thinks of Maui, like you want colors that are congruent with that type of thing. So think about the area you're in and what are the common colors in that area? What are colors that people kind of, expect to see or would get there, be like, this is a site about this area, so that your site fits in with the area you're targeting, right? So think about that in your colors and stay consistent. Use your palette across all your brands and material. And I'm going to show you some tools, some free tools that you can use online to help you do that. So color psychology. So these are just some basic color psychology things to think about when you're thinking about the colors that you're going to pick and use in your logo. Again, you'll find all this in the PDF. The team dropped a link in the comments. Also, too, if you want to download the PDF, just go to this link that you see on your screen, smartdirectory.ai/laws of branding, smartdirectory.ai/laws of branding, and you can get the PDF there. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, just drop a comment below and me or somebody from the team will shoot that link over to you as well. All right, so let's talk about the psychology behind each of these colors. So red, excitement, passion, urgency, great for deals, food, fitness. I think look, if you were building a site that was like the best romantic restaurants in Arizona, right? Red would be because we're talking about romance and things like that. That might be a great color to use. Blue, it implies trust, security, professionalism, ideal for services, finance, healthcare type businesses. Green, health, nature, growth, right? We use green a lot in Hawaii Thrive. We feel that goes well with the word thrive and with the Hawaiian colors, right? Green, island, plush greenery all over. Perfect for wellness, eco-friendly brands as well. Yellow, orange, optimism, friendliness, excellent for community sites, right? That feel of like, this is a bright, vibrant community, a place where we can go and all get along and have fun and share information. Black, gray, white, sophistication, balance, suitable for luxury or tech. So if you're building a directory site targeting a luxury niche or a tech niche, these might be colors you might want to consider, right? You'll notice in Hawaii Thrive, we use black and green with some gray as our main colors because we're a digital tech company in an island environment, right? So that's how we pick those colors. Now, there are some color palette tools that you can use. One is the Adobe Color Palette tool. You'll find a link to this in the PDF. I'm going to exit out of my full screen here because I want to show you this tool. This is really great. So this is the Adobe Color Palette tool. Has anybody seen this before? And I'm going to be getting to questions and stuff too. So yeah, I had not seen this before. Cameron, our operations rock star, actually told me about this tool. He said this is what he uses when he's coming up with color combinations for all the various things we do and different stuff that we put out. He finds this tool really helpful. So what does this tool do? Well, basically what you can do with this tool is you can set colors in these boxes here, okay? And then it makes these little, I don't know what these are called. What are they? They're called a swatch. So this is a color swatch. And then you can move these around and it changes. Like you can see based on these swatches, these are the colors that all work together. Okay. So, and you can delete these. So like if you want to delete a swatch, so you might not need, I think it started with, what is that? 2, 4, it started with 6 colors, but you might not need 6 colors. So let's just say you want a logo with 3 main colors. So then you can go in here and you can put a color in. So let's see this one. So there's green. And then it will tell you like what other colors go with this, right? You can move these around. Oh, let me get out of here. Now I'm moving around. Now, well, you guys get the idea, right? You saw what it was doing before. So maybe you just click save over here. Oh, no, that'll just give you the colors. Sorry about that. So this is a great tool, I guess, is the point I'm getting at. A great tool to be able to see what colors work with other tools. So let's say that let's use this green. So we want to change color. So I'm just going to go with, well, you can change the tint. You can also lock these in, right? And it will just automatically adjust the colors that go with it. So the color tool, very, very useful for doing this. So a couple of things about the color wheel. Oh, let me go back to present here. 5 is the typical number of colors in a brand palette. And here in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit about setting up a brand palette and using that across all your designs and your assets. And just remember that 60% visual recognition increase in brand. So there's a 60% increase in recognition with brands that use consistent colors. So if you're using consistent colors in all of your assets, from your website to your printed materials to your websites, it makes it 60% easier for people to recognize your brand than if you're doing all kinds of crazy colors, right? And again, the Adobe Color Palette tool, a good tool for finding those colors. Now, a logo. So when you're thinking about a logo for your directory site, right, start with the purpose. Think about your logo should communicate your brand's image and value. So again, I'm going to go back to here. Let me show you. I should have pulled this up before we started, but let's go back to hawaiithrive.com, right? So even though this logo is very simple, but it does have an island kind of Hawaii feel to it, right? So think about that when you are putting your logos together. You want it to kind of have the same feel as your site and the angle of your site and all those things. Keep it simple, focus on clean, memorable designs that are going to scale well, and ensure versatility. So make sure that it's going to work across all platforms. It's going to look good in all sizes, and make sure it looks good in color and black and white. Because if you decide to do anything in print, maybe you want to print black and white flyers, you want to make sure your logo looks good as well there. Now, you do not need to hire an expensive designer to do this. I'm going to give you some options here in a minute. But these are just some logo best practices to keep in mind when you're designing your logo. Use a clean font. Make sure it's readable. Avoid clutter. Make sure it works in black and white. Have a scalable design. It should work on cards and big on billboards, and it should reflect your brand's personality. Now, there are some free logo creation tools out there. Or actually one that we know of that is really good, and that is from Canva. So Canva has a free AI logo generator, and there are just a ton of templates in here as well. So you can use this to generate logos. I don't know what the I think there are. So here's the way that Canva free AI things work is if you only have a Canva free account, I think you only get 20 AI prompts a month. So you can use a free Canva account to design a logo, but you get a limited number of prompts to use in the free account. If you have a Canva Pro account, you get more prompts, so you can do that as well. If you're doing anything with design, or you are like me and do not consider yourself a design person, I think Canva is probably one of the best tools out there. And I would recommend, if you're serious about growing your business, that you get Canva Pro, because I am not a design person by any stretch of the imagination, and I am also not a tech person. but even I can go into Canva and make pretty good looking designs for stuff. And they have a ton of AI things that help you and assets and things like that. So I can't talk about this tool enough. I think it's really good. Everybody on our team uses it for stuff. So I would recommend. We also use this on the client side. So, in the Smart Directory AI premium packages, some of our users offer a video, like a 30-second video that they create for the client. They do that in Canva. So Canva has like all these pre-made video templates, and all you have to do is add the images, and it puts it to music, and there's transitions, and it's really, really great. That's how we create those videos. It's super easy to do. So I'd recommend you get a Canva Pro account, just because, if you're going to be doing a lot of design or anything like that for clients or yourself, it's definitely worth it. All right. Okay. So using Canva to create a brand kit. So this is another nice thing about Canva. So look, I'm going to go to, I don't know if I can show you this here, because this is our pro account, and Canva has this awesome thing called brand kits. Okay. And basically what a brand kit is you can go in and set logos and colors, and then you can apply these brand settings across your designs by simply clicking one little button, right? And it just adds them. So it keeps you from having to go in and set colors and do all that stuff. And it makes it easy for you to create multiple assets and make them consistent across your brand. So using the brand kit function is really, really helpful. You can upload logos, you put your brand colors in there, you select fonts, and you can save templates that you can then deploy as you go. All right. If you want to set up a Canva brand kit, all you have to do is organize your assets, set the color palette, choose your typography. This makes it easy to stay visually consistent across everything that you create. Now, one final thing, and then we're going to start opening up for questions and go through some shout outs. And that is tying your directory and your agency together. Okay. So I've seen this question a little bit in some of the groups. People say, well, if I'm prospecting from the directory, isn't it going to be awkward if I start trying to sell them agency services? And the answer to that is no. It will only be awkward if you make it awkward. So don't make it awkward. So how do we not make it awkward? Well, so we have Hawaii Thrive and Mina Marketing, okay? Two separate entities. We prospect from Hawaii Thrive. We internally view Hawaii Thrive as a digital initiative of Mina Marketing. I'm going to say that again. We view Hawaii Thrive as a digital initiative of Mina Marketing. So when we are talking to people that we reach out to with Hawaii Thrive, we can say things like this. By the way, Hawaii Thrive is like an initiative of our bigger company, Mina Marketing, where we specifically help Hawaiian businesses get more customers and clients. And when I was setting up your listing, I noticed that you're not doing something that pretty much every other business in Hawaii is doing, and I think it might be costing you business. So would you be interested to hear what that is? Or if it's an email, I shot a quick Loom video showing you what the problem is. Can I send it over, right? And maybe it's that they don't have a chat widget on their website, or it's their page speed is low, or it's SEO, whatever it is. But that's how we connect those two. So if you are a solo operator, meaning that you're the one running the directory and you're also the one that's going to be talking to them from the agency stuff, you don't have to worry about being the same person. It doesn't matter. People are not going to be like, wait a minute, like just be straightforward and upfront with people. Well, I started this community resource site as an initiative of my other business, which is blank, blank, blank. And that business does this, and I can actually help you fix these problems that I found. Okay. So you bridge the gap. Here's a simple script that you can use. Again, this is in the PDF. And you just say, hey, look, while I was setting up your listing, I noticed that I could help you fix an issue that I found. See, Hawaii Thrive is an initiative of my other company, Mina Marketing. We help local businesses get more exposure online. And I noticed something that you're not doing that I think is costing you clients. You could be getting more bookings each month. I shot a quick loom. Do you mind if I send it over? Show you what the deal is, right? So this type of script, that type of wording adds credibility, and it makes the upsell to your services natural and non-pushy. You don't need to be concerned that you're the same person, like you're doing this all under one umbrella. So even though they are separate entities, they are part of one big whole. Does that make sense to you? I hope so. If not, reach out to our support or drop something in the comments, and I'll see if I can clarify even further for you. All right, so final tips and action steps for you to take if you are new to Smart Directory AI or this whole directory marketing approach. 1, pick your name, choose something, and commit, right? Lock in your colors, set your brand palette, build a brand kit, organize your visuals, get a logo. Again, don't spend a lot of time on a logo. Same as the naming. Pick a deadline, get something that's good enough so you can get prospecting. And most importantly, get up and running so that you can start prospecting. Don't wait for the perfect branding before you start taking action. Get something that's good enough and get going. Done is better than perfect. And you guys got this.